I'm Doug Smith. I was the visual effects supervisor and second unit director on Dr. Dolittle, and with me is...
I am Gary Nolan. I was the visual effects producer for Rhythm Hues.
What we're looking at here is a series of the elements that are used to generate a talking animal. In this case, it's Joey the raccoon. And what you're seeing ranges from the original elements, trying to just get a look from Joey, all the way to the final composite. And that ranges all the way from a whisker removal that was at the beginning to the tracking headshot to what you're seeing right now is a temporary version of a talking animal or the talking mouth. And here we have the final combination of the whiskers and the talking mouth and the proper lighting. The next shot is Archie's shot.
Archie proved very successful for us. He was a fun character to animate, very expressive, and was able to be very well trained, had a lot of head movement that we then followed and applied a tracking program to. As in all of our animals, we made a CG model of the head of the animal, and we would get the exact movement tracked in the computer and then remove, or replace rather, some of the background as we would animate and open the character's mouth. So the mouth and often part of the eyes and the forehead in that area were replaced with the CG model that we then applied fur and textures and integrated it back into the live action plate of the bear to make hopefully a seamless composite of a talking animal.
This is an example of one of the many splits that were done for the show. Roger is the stand-in that Eddie's talking to, and that helps Eddie Murphy react well with where the bear's going to be and get a good eye line. And then the bear is put in, and you see the trainers off to the side that have to be removed. Obviously, the bear can't actually be there because it's a little bit dangerous for everybody. It's also a specially built bed to withstand the pressures of an 800-pound bear. One of the tricks there is to make the lighting match perfectly and make also the bed match.
This is a good example of shooting outdoors with a motion control camera, and we would do the shot of Eddie Murphy jogging as Dr. Dolittle, and then follow that with the same exact camera movement with Archie. And as you can see, he's being led, and his actions are being directed by his trainer. And these obviously were shot at two different times, and one of the tricky things with shooting outdoors with a split screen that has to be matched is the change in lighting. And because of shifting weather conditions, it may cloud over, it may get sunny, and it also lends to a lot of shadows on the ground that have to be blended in and matched. So it can be very time-consuming working on these shots, match them frame by frame.
Well, this is a shot of Lucky running in to the scene and talking. This was done on a stage, and here you see the tracking that has to be done. So Lucky gets very big in the scene, so this tracking goes from very small to very big. Here you see an isolated head coming towards camera. One of the things with this motion is you don't see, it's difficult to see talking through a lot of it, but still the quality has to be there for you to feel that the talking is proper.
This is Pepito the Chameleon, who was a wonderful character. Not a lot of movement in the actual live action plate, and the tracking was not very complicated because there wasn't a lot of movement, but it did take some effort to make a three-dimensional model of the chameleon's head.
There's another split screen with Eddie Murphy talking with Roger. There's a great bit of action there that the editor selected with Tank the Bear scratching his chest. And that's all a part of trying to get a great performance. And you can see the background removal and the final talking that was done.
This is also a motion control shot with Eddie Murphy as Dr. Dolittle trying to teach the animals to walk the walk and to be the alpha male and leader of the animal kingdom. And here we see Clint Youngren, Archie's trainer, getting him up on his hind legs. And Mark Forbes did a terrific job training Lucky the dog. And they're all three walking together on their hind legs. And here's the final composite. This was also something that had to be watched for crossing shadows. And this was shot on a stage, so the lighting was able to be controlled.
This next scene is an example of a multi-animal split, and what makes multi-animal splits difficult is that these animals don't normally appear in the same vicinity with each other. So they all have to be shot separately, which means splitting all these animals into the scene. and also removing all the trainers that are within a scene. So what you'll see is one animal being shot singly at a time. So in a scene like this, where you might have 6 or 8 animals, you end up with 6 to 8 different photographic takes to get a cumulative effect that makes sense to make the point of the show.